I'm Vincent, I'm chair of the membership committee and also the official.
Got the idea. Yeah. Morning guys, Sven Golding, Education Developer.
Good morning, I'm Scott, your meeting secretary and anti-face of Live Chat.
Morning everybody, I'm Terry and the membership and
Morning everybody, Brian, social secretary.
Thank you, Sopsec. Finish it off. You may all be seated. Thank you for your energy in standing up. Right, before we get into the meeting, please welcome to the place. Nice to see you back again. Right, the meeting starts with performance fee. Starts with Scott.
It does. Right, performance fee, you all know, our internal measure of contribution, reset each month. It just charts the contributions people make, attendance, the giving and receiving of referrals, and one-to-one meetings with each other, commenting on the blog, doing something special like attending a Christmas meal, all those things, score us points, and so, let me tell you the top few positions for it. Third place, 109 points. So far. Joint second is Jane and Terry. They have 56. Current leader is 186 points. You're better. Last week you scored 125 points, which is more than some members manage.
Please, sir,
I came in, I represented.
how do we get points for
If you were there,
we put it, oh, you've done it.
I've already done it. You got 15 points last week for taking part in the social activity.
I'm a little bit competitive.
Thanks, Scott. You're next. The education slot, please.
Thank you very much. Well, as was announced last week by Scott, we have for the month of April, we do have the referrer of the month to give the most referrals. But are you actually really taking advantage and listening to different ways that you can give referrals? Because it's very, very different between listening and hearing. So, for example, now I'm talking, I can hear things going on in the background, I can hear John's stomach grumbling, I can hear different things sort of happening. But when you're actually sort of listening, it's not just physical, it's actually mental. So you're using your ears, but you're using your brain as well to listen. And when you're really listening to other people's 60 seconds, rather than hearing, it's really make a difference in the way of giving referrals. Now, a lot of members in the room have great ways to be remembered, so they have lots of memory hooks. So, for example, Tina has I'm not a 9 to 5, I'm a start to finish. We always remember Jane Mallion, that rhymes with stallion. Brian, help is just a phone call away. So, different ways that we will always remember other people in our lives. So, making conscious effort to listen, because if we were to come to you and say, right, Terry, I want you to do a 60 seconds for Mike Skinner. Would you know what to say? Yeah, because you listened. So you should be confident enough to be able to listen to other people so you can present for them. That way, when you're talking to your colleagues and your clients, you can then represent another member a lot easier and a lot better. So during the 60 seconds round today, open your ears and listen to what people are saying, because this is going to help you to bring a lot more referrals for other people. And then in return, that's going to organically bring a lot more referrals to you. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for delivering.
no membership renewal at the moment. The committee is meeting. We're getting on.
Thank you very much. Right, things to get going. First of all, referral box I'll start passing round. Please put your contributions in there. It's the green one, remember. And as usual, the business card box. Make sure you've got business cards in there and take any business cards you might need to help you effect introductions. Right, that leads us into the 67 round. Your chance to highlight your business, indicate what you do, so that you can get referrals. All done in the space of 60 seconds. Vincent is our timekeeper. He gives 2 bings. One, called the bing, think of anything else as well. So after 50 seconds you'll hear, and after 60 seconds you'll hear. When you hear that, wind down immediately so that we can get on with it. That, I think, is all we need to do. I need other than to mention that Toby won the Oscar last week. He will be listing out hard, and as customary, he will be the first to go in the 60-second round. So, without more ado, Toby first, John Freeman to follow.
Good morning everybody, Toby Exton, Business Growth and Development Specialist. Last time I awarded the Oscar, I did some shameless name dropping about Catherine Byrne. This time I'm going to do the same. I was recently put in touch by a HR consultant, put in touch with a company called Top and Go, who you may or may not have heard of. They wanted motivational mapping. They're a creative and digital design agency. They've got clients such as Go Compare, Renault, Lloyds, Vodafone, but one of the reasons they want mapping is because they've grown rapidly in the last 3 years, because they were responsible for the Conservative Party's 2019 successful election campaign. They've also done their COVID campaign, things like Stay Home, Protect the NHS, Save Lives, and Space. They were responsible for picking up those. They also did the creation and the promotion of the vaccine rollout program. So yeah, they've grown very rapidly in the last 3 years. I don't know if they're doing Boris's PR at the moment with party dates. They might be very busy. So no real lesson there, just a bit of name dropping, and I like being introduced to HR consultants. They're very neat clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. Next up is John Freeman, followed by Emma.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John. I am the one-stop coffee shop, and I'm winding down to Monday week when I'm off on travel, so looking at jobs between now and then. Still trying to get a couple of little bits wrapped up because of material problems, and I've been looking for bathroom refurbishments, kitchen refurbishments, redecorations, floor laying, plasticky tiling, that kind of stuff. From mid-June onwards, so if you have anyone or know anyone that's planning on a chunky bit of work from mid-June onwards, keep me on, please. Thank you.
Emma's next, followed by Kira.
Thank you. I forgot to do a 60 seconds today because I was doing the 10 minutes. So I'm a estate agent and I will tell you more about it in a little while. That was it.
This is not tremendously short. Right. Kira, you're next, and Mike's in the fall.
Hi everyone, Kieran Peaty from Studio Creating the Architect of the Group. This week I'm looking for referrals for any land or property owners who are looking to maximise the value of their assets. What I mean by that is anyone who owns a dwelling that they're looking to convert to high quality HMOs, anybody who may own a commercial unit that they're looking to convert to residential apartments, or indeed add an additional story to that particular commercial unit. Anyone with land that they're looking to obtain planning for multi-unit residential development, please send them my way. We can offer fees which are not necessarily no win free, but they're incentivised based on the successful outcomes of the planning stages. So, Kieran Peaty, Studio 40. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Karen. Mike's still followed by William Turner.
Good morning, everybody.
currently for any clients that regularly put out blogs. Because blogs are great, and if you want one to speak to Paul, he's on the hand, but they could benefit massively from adding video content to the blog posts. So Google uses numerous ways of deciding which pages to promote on its search engines, and blog type pages, two important characteristics are dwell time and high domain authority backlinks, which is where this phone. Dwell time is as simple as it sounds, how long people stay on the page. Longer blog articles help with that, but also embedded videos also count towards the time spent on the page. The more time people spend on the page, the more people will recommend to go to the page. High domain authority pages, such as YouTube, naturally perform well in search engines, so blogs with embedded links to YouTube are also listed in Google results. And by adding the blog link to your YouTube description, you also get extra traffic on your page. So we consider adding video content to your blogs to maximise the traffic and respect where you can film in that, or editing together existing footage you've already got to go with it. That's Mike, Rockwood's video.
Thank you, Mike. William, you're next, followed by Melissa.
Morning guys, I'm William Berger, commercial finance specialist. I work among different various types of guys who are involved in SMEs, or high net worths, family offices, and indeed just property businesses at the moment. My products are one that I'm involved in at the moment. I'm just quoting a business loan for 800,000, an invoice finance deal for 100,000, a business loan that can acquire a small practice, 400,000. A bridge over a probate situation, 150, buy-to-let loan, 225, and I'm working with some investors in buying up a property where they're guaranteeing 10% return and 50% upside of the project. The types of guys I'm working with again are for an advisory role. I'm working with a couple of valuers and property investors who want to raise their profile or raise their capital investments. Particular size of investment emphasis. So William Berger, great commercial advisors across the board commercial projects.
Thank you. Melissa, followed by James. James, you're next, followed by Ben.
Well, James from Private Insurance. I usually bang on about the commercial side because that's what I tend to specialise in. However, I also do dabble in the household side of things, usually as accommodation business. Last week, I had a phone call from one of my commercial clients to say the son had gone out and bought an e-bike. Turns out it wasn't the e-bike that I imagined, it was the off-road motorbike that got up to 50 miles an hour. And he wasn't using it on the road, so couldn't get normal insurance for it, so needed to get it from somewhere else. It's something like £1,000. Not your standard bit risk, not your standard household risk, but because we are a local broker, because we need to take a bit more time with our clients. We spent about 2 hours every week. My colleague thought we spent about 2 hours, got the quote, got it on cover, and the son could go and happy with his bike. Son was happy, mum was happy. Hopefully, it was a commercial policy renewal as well. So, although we do the commercial household, we do have lots of markets for it, especially if there's something a little bit different. James, RM Insurance.
Thanks, James. Ben, you're next, followed by Neil.
Good morning, guys. Ben Golding, Utility Warehouse. Now, things are definitely on the up, because we know energy is up 54%, petrol is up 39%, council tax 3.5%, water 1.7%, and the worst one, beer, is up 5%. So So families are now going to see an increase of over £2,500 a year. But now I've depressed you all, I know that I can help, because I'm here to help people save money. Earlier this week I helped somebody save money on their gas, electricity, home phone, broadband and mobile phone, saving over £70 a year. That's £70 a month, £840 a year. Last week, £85 a month, over £1,000 a year. So this week I'm looking for families that you know that want to save as much as they can with the UK's most trusted utility provider. That's Ben and Golding Utility Warehouse.
Thank you, Ben. Neil, you're followed by John Hammond.
Hi everybody, Neil from in any event catering and Chile Republic. I've had 6 emails in the last week. All go by the name of, dear Mr. Bellin, thank you very much for your patience and your massive amount of hard work. However, we decided to go with another caterer. Those 6 emails have cost me nearly £70,000 over the next 3 months. However, not to be negative or to be upbeat, I'm taking Mike out to sea on Sunday. We are going to film a pilot promotional and social media videos for Chile Republic. Chile Republic is going live in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The kitchen is now finished. Last bits are coming into place and we will be in the shops and live online. So that's Neil Bellum, Chile Republic, making special, tasting incredible. Thank you very much.
Hello there, I'm John Hammond from JMH. We supply all your security needs, massive gold CCTV and fire. Back in July last year, we won a project for a client. Not because we were cheap, but we gave them the best solution possible at a cost-effective price. We were about 10% more expensive than our opposition, but we gave them a solution that gave them more flexibility. And this week, it's paid off. We won their second office. So they installed it next to the office, but it talks to their first office in London. So that's what we do. We give people the solution that they need, not what they're actually thinking all the time. And we listen to what their requirements are and what they want to do in the future. So if you want to do it right, call it. That's John Hammond from JMH Technology, Brand Technology to Security.
Thank you, John. Stuart, you're followed by Terry.
Morning everybody, Stuart from LG Networks. Just wanted to speak this morning very briefly about private internet services, what they are and why a business would need them. Obviously we all have access to the public internet service, we all use that on our day-to-day basis. A private internet service gives people access to a service that is exactly that basically. It's a private service, so it's not shared out on the general public. Okay, and the benefits of that basically are it gives you improved speed, which is one nice benefit, but the biggest benefit is stability. It keeps it absolute stable, constant service, guaranteed to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're a business with an office, with people that rely on that internet connection, those private services are worth their weight in gold. Yes, they are far more expensive than the public internet services, but the stability that they bring offers excellent value for money. So I'm looking for businesses that absolutely need and rely on a stable internet connection. That's Stuart from LG Networks.
Thank you, Stuart. Terry, you're followed by
Yeah, good morning everybody. Terry Reagan from TF Law Solicitors. I had an interesting inquiry this week, in fact, a case of taken on, where my client had a contract, we thought we had a contract with the London Borough of Hackney. They're up the borough of Hackney. And this was for 3 years, and he's a plumbing and heating engineer. And so he basically said the next 3 years, the next week he hired many people, and he geared up for that. 1 year into the contract, the London Borough paid for it and said, now we haven't really got the funds for the next 2 years, and we're just going to stop paying you. So he's come to me to look at the consequences of that and what we can do about it. So if you're anyone that's in business and they have contract disputes where they plan for the future, which is obviously what you've got to do, and they've been shut down by, it doesn't have to be a local authority, it can be anyone really. Please give my details, I'll be delighted that I'm going out to review the contract and advise the client about what unpleasant things we're going to do to the London Borough of Hackney. So remaining TM Law.
And it works both ways. Thank you, Terry. Vincent, you're next, followed by Jane.
Morning everyone, Vincent from Speaker. Most of us are upset by the war in Ukraine and don't yesterday when I tried to order more Instagram copy from my usual paper merchants. They were completely out of stock. So I phoned my other usual paper supplier, and guess what? They were completely out of stock too, and had no idea that more was coming in. Why? Russia. Trees come from Finland and Sweden, but most of the paper mills are in Russia. Hence the issue. I did manage to find a paper supplier who could supply A3 size, so I bought 50,000 sheets. Actually last a while. Looks like I'm going to be using my ability to cut most of the sheets down to A4. But without A3 and A4 paper, my business is in trouble. So, spasibo большое, Russia. That's sarcastic, or thank you very much, Russia, in Russian. My advice to you would be, if there's any particular item of stock that you haven't ordered for a while, just check with your suppliers to make sure all is well and that you're not affected by the situation in Russia. So that's speed print, forward-thinking printing.
Jane, your next follow up.
Thank you so much. Jane Marion rhymes with cucumber. So, I have here the humble tea bag. And for most of us, it's something we've taken for granted our whole lives. But you may be aware, about 5 years ago, the scandal broke about plastics being in the average tea bag. And you're pouring hot water onto something that contains microparticles of plastic, and you're consuming it, and it's not the healthiest thing on earth. Well, our business, the English Green Tea Company, launched its tea range 11 years ago, and our little tea bags, humble as they are, contain no plastics, and this product is actually corn starch. It doesn't dissolve in the cup, but it will dissolve on your compost heap, which is more than the other ones used to do. They leave a slime. So bear in mind your health and your enjoyment. Cut out the caffeine's the gift today. Bargain price, but I'm leaving early. You'll have to signal me. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jane. Your next will follow by
Good morning, everybody. My name's Tina. I come from Liberty Executive Services. I work at Secretarial and Admin Service. As well as what I do is help clients, especially if they're doing a presentation or we've got to send out a quote. But I want to be a bit flashy instead of just sending out on paper. I've got a machine at home with curls, if you want curls. And if you wanted a coloured back to go with your company colours, that is where I can help you. So if there's anybody that is looking to do a presentation, you can send it out, be more professionally, but they send it out, I'd like to help them. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services, not 9 to 5 on a side dish.
Thank you, Tina. I'll go over to Pat. Paul, you are a pipeline painter.
Good morning, Paul. You're read by Limited Communications Agency. And I'm going to tell you about SAO Limited. My 60 seconds there. SAO is a web-based design consultancy based in Rome, as well as creating leading edge websites that are hugely effective and attractive. They do search engine optimization, professional email services, and digital marketing. I know this because I work very, very closely with SAO on a number of projects, and there's nobody I would recommend hiring than Scott Griffiths and SAO for the work he does with all sorts of clients throughout. So whether you need an email address that isn't at hotmail.com, or you need a whole new website, or you need a newsletter pumped out to your punters, or you need your website being a little bit more effective, speak to Scott. SAO Limited, fantastic web design.
Thanks, thanks, Paul. Right, detect a slight blush. Excellent, well done. Brian, you're next, followed by Scott.
Good morning, everybody. I'm a therapist, Pilgrim Therapist. I wonder if any of you have heard of polonium 210. It's actually a radioactive agent used in sheep or acetic acid to dye hair. Hexamide. So you want to use hexamide over the weekend. It's used in the manufacture of lighter. We've got acetone, H2, carbon monoxide, taric acid. Then there's ammonia, the industrial cleaner. Cyanide, used in during warfare, and arsenic, manufacture of weapons. And they store these poisons because they're just some of the poisons in every cigarette. So this week I'm looking for anyone you know who's not aware of those poisons, please inform them I can help. A bit louder, did you ring the bell? I'm not sure.
I'm going to ring it again in a second.
Right, can you the therapist? Oh, yes, a phone call away. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Scott.
Good morning, Dr. Scott from SEO, inspired by our SEO this morning, today, representing Redpine Comms. So probably the best way for me to describe Redpine is to talk about the examples of how I worked with them. So my very best projects are those where I get to work with Paul and Matt. Paul talks about corporate communications each week. So it's not just helping to write content for the web page, it's not just helping to polish your blogs each week. The work I've done with Paul, he has helped to train and teach the sales staff in one particular company how to sell and promote and explain their products professionally. He's helped to craft PowerPoint presentations and sales materials. He's helped to wrangle them out of their corporate crisis or issues. He's helped to get together their annual documents and assist with all of the regulatory bodies. So anything communications-wise, words for your website or just promoting your business, make sure you say it right. Say it with Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Paul Booth.
I'm Paul Booth from Booth Chartered Sales Product Accounting Space in Brentwood. The national insurance rates for employees and employers each went up by 1.25% from 6th of April. So what we've been doing is working with clients to try to reduce the impacts of that. I mean, we've had clients on where employees have been on £50,000, £100,000 a year. We've changed their remuneration strategy, thereby saving quite a lot of national insurance and tax each year. So that's what we've been doing. Also, there's also for genuine employees who are not directors or shareholders, there's also things like salary sacrifice that you can do to reduce the national insurance. So, you know, anyone who's struggling with their national insurance, less, do contact me. Yes, Paul Booth from Booth Co. Minimise tax, maximise wealth.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Brian, from Law. The power of attorney gives authority to someone to act on your behalf, either generally or specifically. It can be time specific, but in any event, if you lose mental capacity, the power of attorney ceases. A lasting power of attorney is designed to carry on after you've lost mental capacity until you're done. You can't grant an LPA once you've lost mental capacity. And old age can indeed bring on mental incapacity, but so can an accident to somebody then your age. So, if you've got a partner, children, have responsibilities, financial or otherwise, not only should you make a will, but you should also seriously consider making an LPA. I can explain more to anybody who wants to know about it on a one-to-one basis. You might even instruct me once you've heard what I have to say, or indeed introduce it to a family member. Thank you very much for listening, and that's the end of the members. We are left with Peter. Would you like to do a 60 seconds?
Good morning, everybody. Peter Lewis from One Plumbing. One Plumbing stands for On the North Road Epping, as Vince quite often tries to remind me. Here today to talk about what I do, obviously. Primarily heating. I don't do bathrooms. I've got somebody who does bathrooms alongside with me, but I'll do it on plumbing job, etc., but more often than not heating. A lot of the questions I'm getting asked at the moment is, when are they going to get rid of gas? Are they getting rid of gas? Gas prices are going up. We all want to go for air source, renewables, etc. They're not going to get rid of gas. It's going to be hydrogen. They reintroduce that into the line, 20% to start with, and then in the end game, 100%. They can't get rid of the gas line. So if anybody's worried about we're having to renew renewables, and don't. They can't make those renewables. And if your house is insulated properly or has the right infrastructure, renewables are not going to help you in any way. So that's Pete Givers, One Plumbing, for all your
got Scott and Paul did. Can we sort of do that one week where everybody and do it on a sweepstake basis?
Yeah. 10 years ago, we did that before EDF. It was a DNI meeting. We put all of the cards in a hat, drew them out, week's notice. It resulted in a court case.
Okay.
What were you doing there?
Very keen on that. Okay. I like bands, but it was just too much doom and gloom at the beginning. Sorry, Ben. Vince, thanks for the reminder. I need to stop up on my caviar. I'm going to do that. But the rest of this week actually goes to someone who made a very good point. You don't need to compete on price. You don't have to be the cheapest. If you've got the best solution, if it's done right, then that's better than competing on price. So, John.
I want it after it's full here. Right. Thank you very much, Terry. Well done. Scott, the meeting.
Yes, I'm just going to go on about it again. Referrer of the month. Please don't forget to fill these out. Make sure you do. And the bit that counts for points is doing this on the V form, so going to the website and recording your exercise. But you do need to do the actual green bit for today, so that you can be included for the speaker's prize. And there are other things I'll tell you about later, other reasons why we need to get these in. Looking back, we used to achieve 100 or so of these each month, which resulted in 80-odd thousand pounds worth of business that was shared around the room. We're not getting close to that at the moment. Times have changed and things moved on, but that should be our goal to try and return back to those numbers in money and those numbers in referral opportunities. So do try and remember to record all of these, obviously, tune in, turn your ears on, listen out for those referral opportunities.
Thank you, Scott. We move on to the 10-minute presentation.
Right, today's speaker we have, and who did go to the EBF website and send me their bio sheet. So, today we have, we can get it up now. Where has it gone? There we go. Today we have Emma Taylor. So, and her business is Keller Williams, Keller Williams, who's an estate agent. Property consultant based in Essex. Now, Emma's going to tell us a little bit more about what she does and how she helps people, but a couple of things from Emma's bio sheet. A frightening experience. When she was about 11, she started watching a weird documentary where a man's testicle exploded. Her dad was out that night in London and came back in a bit of a state, and Emma heard a commotion happening in the bathroom. She found her dad on the floor, looked like covered in blood everywhere, and being a young girl she thought his testicles exploded. Turns out he hadn't. He'd had too much red wine and basically thrown up all over the bathroom floor, but she was absolutely terrified. Something that winds Emma up is people who eat with their mouth open, especially over breakfast. How you relax is you can usually find Emma popping up to the bar in Billericay on a Friday night with an espresso martini in her hand and putting the world to rights. And finally, a famous person that Emma has met is when Emma worked in a Spanish restaurant in Chelmsford when she was about 15. Gordon Ramsay was filming one of his shows there. She ended up having a good old natter at the bar with him, having a good old chinwag, and he's not scary in real life, but little does she know that he was actually there to film Hell's Kitchen, and the place was shut down very soon after. But without further ado, Emma Taylor.
Obviously, I'm a fan of cocktails, as Ben has upgraded to full team member within 3 months. After that, I was made team leader for the sales progression part within that 6 months. But unfortunately, I really wanted to work in London. Both my parents worked in London, so I started at a property buying company in 2014. During COVID, unfortunately, I was made redundant, and since then, travelling up to London, I've realised that I actually hated the commute, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But I then started a contract job for Enfield County Council, getting people into work, and I have to say it was the worst job I have ever done in my life. As of last year, coming up to my 1-year anniversary, I am now with Keller Williams. So, who are Keller Williams? We've got 192,000 estate agents within the world. We are covering 43 different countries, although we've got 2 more joining, so we'll soon 45. We're the largest global real estate company in the world, and at the moment we have about 500 UK agents spread out over Wales, Scotland and England. It is predominantly an American company, that's where it was where it started by Gary Keller. But we are basically local agents with a huge network. We all work in the areas that we live in, and that's where we try and keep it as local as we possibly can. Very community driven, which I'll go into a little bit later, but we are relationship driven, not transactional. We take on a few clients at a time rather than taking on masses, so that we don't have to spread ourselves too thin amongst our clients. How are we different? So, like I said, we live in the area that we specialise in, so we try and keep it as hyper-local as we can. Also, because we have so many agents within Essex as well, we try to keep it in a specific area for promotion and advertising and things like that as well, to not step on each other's toes. We're an agent for life, not just the transaction. Again, this is very Americanised. You know, you have a realtor for life, not just for one transaction. That's what we're trying to bring over here. We're trying to give people a good experience so that they actually keep returning, you know, 10, 20 years down the line. We listen. I try to draw an ear. This is not a fetus. This is an ear. We listen. We speak to our customers. We try and find out the motivation behind their move, the reason behind everything, and really try and get to know their needs, their wants, their family, and just basically integrate ourselves into their lives for a few months. Not just a 9 to 5, but I'm start to finish too. Yeah, they get access to I only have one phone, so it's my personal mobile number, and you can call me at any time. My phone calls at 11 o'clock on a Friday evening, and you know, it's sort of a property concierge service. You know, it's around the clock as and when they need it. Social media presence, we realise that in the 21st century, it is massive to be on social media. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, we are all over it, and actually we get leads from doing this for ourselves, for our buyers, for our sellers. I've had viewings before from Instagram before the property's even gone live, so we really utilise the social media presence. We support local businesses, so I've actually created an Instagram page, Best of Ricky, and it's a referral page, so to be featured on the page, you have to be referred by someone who's used you, just giving people, you know, the comfort in using local businesses to know that someone else has used them and had a good experience as well. Not your typical estate agent. We aren't salespeople. We are people who have a passion for people and property. And together, it just, you know, we're not the flashy estate agents that turn up and tell you what you want to hear and then just clear out your lives for the next 6 months. So how do we value? This is the first sort of step really to speaking to our clients. So we look at the recently sold properties, look at the market competition. This is probably the most, the biggest one that we have to look at. The market competition, whatever's on the market at that time is the competition that house would be going up against. This is something we have to bear in mind when putting properties on the market. Obviously size, location and specification plays a big difference you know, in the pricing as well. But it's more local knowledge. If I take on a property that's not in my area, I will speak to the agent that is in that local area because there may be something that I don't know that's going to impact it. So that's how we're able to, you know, cover a larger area, but still have that local knowledge as well because we liaise with our clients. Pricing brackets, a big thing on Rightmove. If you're not on a pricing bracket, you are missing out on marketing opportunities. You can sometimes get lost within the listings. They are there for a reason, and you know, they are to be utilised as well. This is actually something do in the room with a seller a pricing triangle. So if you've got a, say, 4-bedroom property, we're looking somewhere between the 500 and 600 mark. This is how we go about it. So at the 500 mark, you're going to get lots and lots of people through the door and create a buzz, a hype, and market competition. At 550, you're going to get a little bit less, and at 600, you're going to get even less. It's really important to get people through the door in the first place, because that's when my job comes into it, to negotiate people up to a price that our sellers are happy with, basically. So, marketing. Like I said, we do big social media presence. We will start to advertise the property on social media a few days before it's even online, up to a week before. Some little teasers, some videos, and just create a hype around the property. Big on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube as well. Obviously, we use the online portals as any estate agent does, right? We've been the most one that people use and my personal favourite. But something what we ever do is door knocking. So we will actually go down the street of the property that it's on. Yes, and we will speak to the neighbours. We'll ask them if they have anyone that they know that's looking to the area. Would you like to choose your neighbour? You know, it gets them thinking. You know, that person will know 30 to 40 other people who may be looking to move to that area. So we specify in the marketing around the actual property itself. And as well, online listings. If you've got, like I said, a 4-bedroom property in Bidderricky, look at the 3 bedrooms and the 5 bedrooms. They might be upsizing, they might be downsizing. Knock on the door. Are you moving? What's the reasons? You know, try and get a little bit more marketing in that sense. Open days. This is my attempt at a balloon and cake. We try to make it, a big event. We will market head out of it, balloons, cakes, and really just make sure that there is a buzz created with the property. And this way we have people coming in and out all day long, and creating that market competition as well. With the marketing, it literally is the better the marketing, the better the result. And that is a proof of fact with the offers that we've been receiving recently. What do we cover? Sales, lettings, buyer's agent, commercial, land and new homes. Buyer's agent isn't as big over here at the moment as it's in America, and we are trying to bring that over here. You get one point of contact throughout the whole process, from the beginning right up until the marketing, the negotiations, the sales, and exchange and completion. This is something really interesting as well. May 8th is Red Day. We will ingrain ourselves into the local community for the whole day. 2 of the organisations that I actually volunteer with on a regular basis are Bidderricky Lit Speakers once a month, and Bidderricky Food Bank. Every Thursday I deliver food in the local area. So to summarise, we're relationship over transactions. We are quality over quantity. We look for exceptional customer service, giving that personal touch and having that one contact throughout the whole process. We try and go the extra mile in everything that we do, and think outside the box in creating new buzz around the property. Proactive, not reactive. We will actively seek out a buyer for you. Fiduciary versus functional. We take pride and honouring what we do. We're not your average estate agent. I think that's nearly out of time, isn't it? So, please follow me. I've printed out a QR code. This links to my socials. I'll leave that up. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Questions?
Emma, yeah, thanks for that. I know there's massive shortage of stock at the moment. So are you finding that any clients you're taking on, the actual entry sale price is a lot higher than what's been listed, or offers and things?
Yeah, everything bar one property over the last 6 months that I have sold has been sold for well over the asking price. I worked out the other day that I'm currently sitting at about 104% of the actual market price that we're putting it on for overall. So yeah, I read an article from Rightmove the other day, and for every one property that there is 2 buyers. So you can imagine the discrepancy between it at the moment. So yeah, every day there's loads of new properties coming on the market.
You mentioned there about the American, about having a buyer's agent. Is that like you can find the property?
Exactly.
Or is that representing them on the side?
No, well, both really. So it's more for like international buyers. They really like it when they're moving to London, but obviously flying in and out and everything, it costs them an arm and a leg. So what we'll do is we'll actually source properties America, South Africa, wherever in the world, I will also still receive a part of that profit as well. So it's you know, it's good income for me as well if you've got anyone in the world who's looking to move, because I can just refer them to another agent in that area.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you keep your client list down to a minimum to get the best service.
Yes.
Surely it's very difficult to resist taking on more clients and people that want to buy and people that want to sell.
Yes, but also what we're trying to do is when the new Louis Vuitton bag comes out and there's a waiting list, it's exclusive. People want to get it. I want to be that name. Oh, you sold with Emma. That's what I'm trying to create. That, you know, that buzz around sort of having that personal service. And I'm basically just sort of take down various goods because they're all really getting on nerves. Yeah. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Don't go and sit down, however. Your job is not over. Right.
Get my steps in.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Ultimately, however much we clap and say you're brilliant, the important thing is after delivering your 10 minutes, you should get referrals. If you get that, you really have a successful 10 minutes. Let's see how it goes. We'll, if you'd like to do the running, then we'll start with Paul and work our way around.
Thank you very much for Richard Reid and a few ex-members, and good meeting.
We've got two for John, which is for Phil, who's for properties, and on Scott as well. I've written it down to the links. I know it's expanded since then. But
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fascinating presentation. I can help you to love spiders.
Oh! Interesting. You do it with clowns as well? Clowns.
Got something in?
What are you
Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, great 10 minutes, and we're really professionally presented. Fantastic to get to know and also know about the global reach really as well. Welcome to Peter. It'd be great to see you cover on.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you do boiler installations?
Yeah,
And great 10 minutes as I mentioned from Ben, and I got one referral for
Yeah, great meeting again today. 10 minutes, really interesting. Great, it's a lot. I remember what you were saying. Won't miss you next week. Miss your smile, not all your depressing stats. So, let's go.
Welcome everyone. Next, really good presentation. It's Forest on expecting that I want to write from that. So look at it's really good. It's good to know. I like small business, big business, but small in a personal side. That's what fits in well here. I think it's good. Welcome to Peter. Good to see you. Thank you. We'll see more of it. And the first book. Mike mentioned after about half those shoots. Near agent headshots. And then maybe as soon as you want to get some PR on the way up, just stick that to the
Headshots in front of it.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, great presentation. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, look forward to hearing some more during the next one. Well done on the heads up, that's very good. Welcome Peter. Great meeting. See you all next week.
Great spot, I was at the educated shops there. Good 10 minutes. No, it's really good. Been to learn more. We're going to another one. She's a bit taxi driver, I know. Fantastic. A great meeting. I am looking for one-to-one, but I'm also so stretched for time one. So if anybody wants to channel maybe do a Zoom, go to one. Not because I don't want to see it, it's just time to practice it to raise up. Thanks.
It's been an experience always, and fantastic 10 minutes, and I sensed you were rather nervous at the beginning. drawing of QR codes is absolutely spot on. I've got a thank you for the money for Scott. And a referral from Matt Barry, who's not here. Yeah, great meeting everyone. Look forward to seeing you all next week.
Really, really great first 10 minutes got done. Just moved house. Ain't planning to do that again. But in due course, I will be very happy to refer you on as again. A referral for John. John. And a thank you to Paul for referring me to the next project. Thank you.
So the ultimate test is when you get a referral, and you've got one from me. It's just really to reinforce what I said about helping do evaluation, different to our staff.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for following up on the education slot about getting referrals going. The more we have, the better it is.
Oh, fantastic 10 minutes there. We're really, really good, especially for your first one. Showed us exactly sort of what you do. As I said earlier, I do want to move to Sheffield originally, so when that time comes, I shall be getting in contact with you. But no, really well done. I've got a couple of referrals that I put through this last week, but we also haven't put them on the EBF website yet, so I'll make sure that's done today. And next week, when I get back, I've got one-to-ones, hopefully with Neil, Vince, and Emma. It'd be good to get one in with you as well. And Peter, great to meet you. Won't be here next week, so I've got a hospital visit. So, but actually, Jane and John, if I could grab you very quickly afterwards to sort out the. Oh, I'll text you. Sure. Brilliant. But have a great weekend, and I'll see you all too.
Great 10 minutes. I want to know what the phone call's like on a Friday night at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Actually, our house is flooded.
So your next call might have been someone like me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't drink, so. I've got a referral for Neil we've spoken about. Neil, do give Richard a call. He's really keen to kick off with this. And I've got a thank you for the money to Stuart for the Thailand splashback. Yeah, next week is my last week for a few weeks. So if you've got any words of songs, thanks Scott. Do get them in. Me. I'm free after if you fancy 10 minutes.
I'll go to chicken or
That's brilliant. Emma, you've got a really good understanding of what the business is and different, and still really want to book in a one-to-one. I think you've got about 60 lined up at the moment, so we'll sort it out. Fantastic, as well, and I don't know if we count drawing you home to one-to-one again, but we'll discuss that. Well, thank you for the money to Mark Robinson, who's not here anymore, but I spoke to him this week in depth, did some consultancy for VOC, so if anyone's interested in that, I'm quite happy to give advice on how to do it. Bridge over channel, how to set up the lights, how to make it all look a bit more professional. So we did that over Zoom for a while. I'm on a boat trip with Neil on Sunday, which I'm really looking forward to. And James, could I tell you down for 2 minutes afterwards to have a chat about car insurance?
What areas do you actually cover there? How far do you go out?
Essex and sort of into London now.
So Harlow and that sort of area.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Depends on what.
Hey, Frank did wait for the next member for the assessment group. There's 2 projects so far. We've dealt with for them. Got one for Stuart for the old courthouse. More extras there. So keep giving that one. Yeah, no, fair bit out of that one. And I've got one for Colin O'Connor as well. For the one he put across the Goldberg Homes.
Well done, thank you for the money to Melissa for services rendered. And also thank my guest Peter. Do I get points for that?
No, you've already had points for bringing up Peter.
And a big thank you to Tina actually, because you introduced me to Centene a few years ago. They're now called Opera Rose Health. And I've got a meeting this morning with the new purchasing manager. So, yay.
Vince, you get points if you convince Peter to join.
Peter, do you want to join the group?
As long as I have sit next to you again.
Give the man points.
Thank you very much for having us again. Great 10 minutes. Really enjoyed that. Yes, I would like to join the group. I think it's a very friendly atmosphere. And yeah, I'll still want that 5 of you, I think, Chef.
There's 10 people missing today, by the way, so you've got more groups than me.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Paul, Dylan. And I've got another one for Ben. And yeah, I'm just going to keep reaching out for a few more one-to-ones and see if I can get around to everyone's trade that I don't normally have anything to do with, which is usually anything involving a screwdriver or anything technical, which is pretty much everyone. So emails are coming out. Thank you. See you next week.
Terry and I use screwdrivers, don't we? Well, you do, in particular.
So that was an awesome experience. Well done, my dear. Excellent. And thank you to Ben as well. And a lovely meeting. Tina Walker, thank you for the money. I saved you the job. Ben, thank you very much. And this one's for Hannah, but she's not here, so I'll hang on to that. And sorry I have to leave early, but also to mention there were a few business cards I would have taken out of the box, but they're not in there. So if you do have a little, yes, if you have a Melissa, I'm not sure you're there, yes, so sorry, but it would just help me to be able to pass it on to other people more readily. Thank you so much, excuse me for running away. Cheers.
Bye, James.
Bye, Jane.
Jane, I've sent you a message. I've sent you a message.
Oh, really good 10 minutes. And if no one has had a one-to-one, you're going to get, you need to get one. Really good, really interesting, and I can recommend you because I know a little bit more as well now. Really good ends lot. I'll see you next week.
Hang on, don't away yet. No. What you've now learned, that the running is more of a marathon than a sprint. And we now move on to what we always used to have in the meeting, and we're now reinstating. And the first one is the referral reality check.
We'll do it that way.
Sorry, Scott.
We're introducing old things. We reintroduced the Speaker's Prize, which will follow. But the referral reality check is where we look back, draw a couple of referrals from last week's meeting, and just see what they turned into. So here we go. Here's a couple. First one is from Ben to Mike Skinner, Colchester Hospital Radio Fundo.
He's doing the books, so you spoke to him the other day, didn't you? He's going through his emails and is intending to get in touch. So.
Fabulous, that's what we got here. Second is from Terry to Paul Deleu, website audit for wording, please.
Absolutely fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Toby Acton to Hannah. Business cards, Vince. Oh, that was the joke one. Right, we'll keep going there. Keep going there.
This is going well, Jack.
See what makes sense. Tina Walker to Terry. Arranged debt collection, spoke about already.
Oh yes, done and dusted, but there could be another trip.
Okay. Alright, we're working out.
With a screwdriver.
There we go. That's the referral reality check. Should we do the Speaker's Prize?
The Speaker's Prize is next, yes.
Come and pick us a minute, please, Em. That's the person that it's from. So if you want to tell us.
Person it's from?
Yeah, from.
It is from, I think that says Toby, but it looks like Toby. Toby to Hannah.
That's a genuine one.
Well, there we go. I'll have the green one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Finally, thank you.
Sorry? No, we have. So, it's the prize that you give.
Oh, yes, sorry. I thought it was to do with the horses. We were all putting money in. Ignore me.
That was racing, guys.
So because I don't have necessarily a product, or I can obviously sell your house for you, but that's quite a thing. So I thought actually what we do is we have one-to-one, and I would pay for your lunch, and that way. I'm not thinking anywhere flash. I meant like a camera. I thought 1 to 1, and I'll pay for lunch, and we can, you know, you can get something. Come with this. All right.
Given the generosity of the prize, I hope that was a genuine referral to the beach. No, it's all right, don't worry. Right. The sun is shining. We're almost at the end of the meeting. Any final announcements, reminders, anything anybody wants to say? Brian?
I'd like you all, please, to think about something we can do that refers to me as social secretary, some sort of outing. It doesn't have to be for everybody, half a dozen so. So if you can think of something that might be of interest, think of it during the week and I'll ask you next week for your responses. I expect a response from everybody.
Yes, thank you, Brian. And the reason he says everybody, you don't have to think big, as he said. Think small or big, whichever you can think of. Thanks for that, Brian. Scott.
Just wanted to thank some of you for taking part in my Formula One sweepstake. It's an attempt just to help my Emma on her fundraising. We're 4 races into the 22 race Formula One season, 6 drivers left if anybody fancies booking one on the sweepstake. Come see me up.
What drivers are left?
I'm not telling you which drivers are left. There are some drivers left in the top 10 and there are a few in the bottom rankings. It's randomly allocated, and I'm not telling you if the clerk's gone and all those.
And is there a prize that not only reflects the best, but somebody who does something mediocre or crashes or
No, there's prizes for the first and second place driver,
right,
and first and second place constructors. No.
Okay. Anybody else? Any more for any more? No. Thank you all for a great meeting. Not only is the sun out, but your smiling faces help make my day. I look forward to the rest of the day, as I hope do you, and we'll see you all.